September means 7, but it is the 9th month of the year. October means 8, but it is the 10th. November means 9. December means 10. Every one of these names is wrong, not slightly off, not debatable, not a matter of interpretation, wrong. And you have known these words your entire life. You learned them before you could read. You use them without thinking. You trust them, even though they no longer describe the system they came from, because those names belong to a calendar that no longer exists, a structure that was edited and then quietly replaced. And the edit is still visible, hidden in plain sight, in the language itself, which means something was changed, but not fully erased. And that is where this story begins, because before there were 12 months, there were other ways of measuring time, ways that did not need to be memorized, ways that aligned with something outside human decision, something consistent, something observable, the sky. A full lunar cycle, from one new moon to the next, takes approximately 29.5 days, and in a single solar year, that cycle repeats 13 times, not 12, 13. This is not theory. This is not interpretation. It is arithmetic. Multiply 28 days by 13, and you get 364. One day short of a full solar year. One single day. And in many ancient systems, that extra day was treated differently. A day outside the calendar, a reset, a boundary between cycles, time that did not belong to any month or any week. A pause. Before everything began again. The math is simple, clean, predictable. But that is not the strange part. The strange part is how long humanity followed it. Because long before formal calendars, long before institution, long before writing itself, humans were already tracking time, and one of the oldest objects ever discovered suggests how. Around 20,000 years ago, on the edge of what is now the border between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, someone carved a series of notches into a small bone, now known as the Ishango bone. 3 columns, carefully grouped markings, repeated patterns, not random, not decorative, measured, intentional. When researchers examined it, they noticed something. The groupings align with lunar cycles, 6 months of them, and one interpretation goes further. That the markings may have been used to track something else tied to the same rhythm. The human body, the average menstrual cycle, approximately 29 days. The moon, approximately 29.5. In dozens of languages, the word for month and the word for moon share the same root. Because for most of human history, time was not abstract. It was observed, felt, repeated, counted against something real, something visible, something that did not need to be declared or standardized or enforced. It was simply there, and for thousands of years, that was enough, until it wasn't. Because eventually, time stopped being something we followed and became something that was managed, and one of the earliest examples of that shift comes from Rome. The earliest Roman calendar, attributed to Romulus, had 10 months, 304 days. The year began in March and ended in December. The remaining period, winter, was not counted at all. Time existed, but it was not measured. It was ignored, a blank space. Then came the change. Around 700 years before the Common Era, Rome had 2 months, January and February, not to align with the moon, not to restore a natural rhythm, but to fill the gap, to create a complete system. And in doing so, they created something new, a calendar that no longer matched the sky, but matched a structure, and more importantly, a calendar that could be controlled, because the system did not remain fixed. Additional months, called intercalations, could be inserted, removed, adjusted. And the authority to decide when that happened was given to a small group of priests, the pontifices. Their decisions were not public, not transparent, not predictable, which meant something else became possible. If you control time, you control duration, and if you control duration, you control power. A political term could be extended, a rival's influence could be shortened, deadlines could shift, obligations could move, without changing the event itself, only the calendar around it. Time became a tool, not a constant, and over centuries, that system became unstable. By the 1st century BCE, the Roman calendar had drifted months away from the seasons. Festivals no longer aligned with harvests, dates no longer matched reality, and something had to be done. So Julius Caesar intervened. He reset the calendar, added 90 days to a single year, called it the last year of confusion, and introduced a new system, 12 months, fixed lengths, a solar alignment, not perfect, but stable, and more importantly, centralized. It worked. Better than what came before, but it also did something else. It replaced something older, something that had existed long before Rome, something that did not require authority to maintain, and from that point forward, 12 became normal, not because it was the only option, but because it was the chosen one, and once something becomes standard, it stops being questioned. Until someone notices the cracks, because the system you use today is not perfectly consistent. Months have different lengths, 28, 30, 31, sometimes 29. You were taught a rhyme to remember it. That alone should raise a question. A system designed for human use should not require memorization tricks to function. It should be intuitive, but this one isn't. And yet, it is universal, used by governments, economies, institutions, everywhere. Which means something else happened. Not just a change, but a lock-in. Because once the Gregorian calendar was introduced in 1582, it did not just adjust time, it removed it. 10 days. Gone. Not gradually phased out, not redistributed, deleted. October 4th, followed by October 15th. Those days simply did not exist. People went to sleep and woke up in a different timeline, and the explanation was simple. Those days were never real, which raises a question. If time can be removed, by decree, what else can be changed the same way? Because this was not an isolated decision, it was a pattern, and it continued. Centuries later, someone proposed something different, not a return to the past, but a system that mirrored it. 13 months, each exactly 28 days, every date falling on the same weekday every year, no variation, no irregularity, one extra day at the end, outside the system, a reset. It worked, mathematically, practically, financially. A major corporation used it internally for over half a century, and it solved problems the current system still has. But it was rejected, not because it failed, but because it conflicted with existing structures built around a calendar that could not easily change, and that is the pattern. Not that 13 is better than 12, not that one system is perfect, but that alternatives, even functional ones, do not survive once a system becomes dominant, and over time, something else happens. The alternative stops being remembered, and eventually, it starts being feared. 13, an unlucky number, skipped in buildings, avoided in numbering, treated as something to exclude, even though, for most of human history, it was the natural count. The sky still cycles 13 times a year. The body still follows similar rhythms. Nothing in nature changed, only the system we use to measure it, and that system became so familiar that it no longer feels like a choice. It feels like reality, but it isn't. It is a structure, one that was built, modified, standardized, and enforced over time. And once a system reaches that level, the original version does not need to be erased. It only needs to be ignored, because if no one asks about it, it might as well not exist. The sky still counts, the cycles still repeat, the patterns are still there, but the system you live inside no longer reflects them. And the question is not whether 13 was correct, or whether 12 is better. The question is why a system that once aligned with observation was replaced by one that requires memorization, adjustment, and constant explanation, and why every attempt to revisit that change has failed. Because when something works, it does not need to be defended, and when something persists, despite its inconsistencies, it usually means something else is holding it in place, not the sky, not the math, but the system built around it. And once you see that, it becomes difficult to look at something as simple as a calendar the same way again. Because it is not just measuring time, it is defining it, and whatever defines time quietly defines everything that happens inside it.